You've been looking at maps your whole life, but what if I told you that almost everything you think you know about geography is wrong? Starting at number 50 and counting down to the most mind-blowing geographical lie that will completely change how you see the world. Number 50, the true size of Africa. Most world maps show Africa as roughly the same size as Greenland. But here's what they're not telling you. Africa is actually 14 times larger than Greenland. In fact, you could fit the entire United States, China, India, Japan, and all of Europe inside Africa with room to spare. The Mercator projection has been lying to you about the true scale of our continents, making Africa appear 3 times smaller than it actually is. Number 49, Alaska isn't that big. Maps of the United States make Alaska look absolutely massive, like it could swallow Texas 3 times over. But actually, while Alaska is big, it's only about 2.5 times the size of Texas, not the continent-sized monster maps suggest. The curved projection near the poles stretches Alaska to look nearly as big as the entire lower 48 states combined. Your geography teacher probably never mentioned this distortion. Number 48, Russia's inflated size. Russia looks like it could eat the rest of the world for breakfast on most maps. But while it's definitely the largest country, maps exaggerate its size by up to 300% in the northern regions. Siberia appears enormous because of polar distortion. In reality, the entire continent of Africa is almost twice as large as Russia. You've been tricked into thinking Russia is far more dominant than it actually is. Number 47, the Sahara Desert deception. When you picture the Sahara Desert, you probably imagine it covering most of North Africa. But here's the shocking truth. The Sahara is actually growing by 48,000 square kilometers every year. Maps can't show you that this desert has expanded by 10% just in the last century. What your static map shows as desert boundaries are already outdated by thousands of miles. Number 46, Europe's size illusion. Europe looks substantial on world maps, like a major continental player. But Europe is actually smaller than you think. It's only slightly larger than the United States and could fit inside Brazil with room left over. The psychological centering of Europe on many world maps, combined with projection distortions, makes it appear 2 to 3 times more significant than its actual land area suggests. Number 45, the Pacific Ocean's hidden enormity. Maps make the Pacific Ocean look big, but they're actually understating it dramatically. The Pacific is so vast that it contains more area than all land on Earth combined, plus another Africa. It covers 46% of Earth's water surface, but map projections compress it to fit on flat surfaces. If you could see Earth from directly above the Pacific, you'd see almost nothing but water. Number 44, countries that don't exist on your map. Your world map is probably missing entire countries that have more people than Sweden. Somaliland has operated as an independent nation since 1991 with its own currency, government, and borders. But it's not on your map. Transnistria, Northern Cyprus, and several other functioning states are invisible because map makers follow UN recognition, not reality. You're literally looking at an incomplete world. Number 43. The North Pole isn't land. Many maps show the North Pole as a white landmass like Antarctica. But there's absolutely no land at the North Pole. It's just floating ice over 13,000 feet of Arctic Ocean. Unlike Antarctica's actual continent, the Arctic is purely oceanic. Santa's workshop would need to be on a boat because that land you see on maps is just cartographic convention, not reality. Number 42, New Zealand's Vanishing Act. Here's a geography lie so common it has its own subreddit. New Zealand is missing from thousands of world maps. Major publishers, museums, and even the UN have forgotten this country of 5 million people. But even when it is shown, maps place it too far from Australia. In reality, New Zealand is closer to Australia than California is to Hawaii. You've probably seen dozens of maps that pretend an entire country doesn't exist. Number 41, the international dateline chaos. That neat, straight international dateline on your map? Complete fiction. The real dateline zigzags crazily around island nations, creating time zone chaos. Kiribati reorganized time itself in 1995, moving the line 2,000 miles east so their entire country could share the same day. Some islands are 25 hours ahead of their neighbors just a few miles away. Maps simplify this temporal insanity into a clean line that doesn't exist. Number 40, Chile's mind-bending length. Maps show Chile as a long country, but they don't capture its absolutely insane proportions. If you place Chile across Europe, it would stretch from Norway to Nigeria. It's so long that its northern desert and southern glaciers experience completely opposite seasons. The country is longer than the distance from New York to Los Angeles, yet maps compress this extreme geography into what looks manageable. Number 39, the Bermuda Triangle doesn't exist. Every mystery map shows the Bermuda Triangle as a defined area of danger, but officially there's no such place. It appears on 0 navigation charts. The triangle isn't even a triangle. Different sources draw it completely differently. Ships and planes disappear at the same rate here as anywhere else in the ocean. You've been looking at a geographical myth that map makers invented for entertainment. Number 38, Madagascar's shocking isolation. Maps show Madagascar just off Africa's coast, suggesting easy access. But this island has been isolated for 165 million years, longer than the Atlantic Ocean has existed. It split from Africa when dinosaurs ruled Earth, creating evolution so unique that 90% of its species exist nowhere else. Maps can't show you that this isn't just an island. It's practically an alien world that's been evolving separately since before flowers existed. Number 37, the real Middle East. Your map labels a region as the Middle East, but middle of what? East of where? This term was invented by British colonizers who saw themselves as the world's center. For people in India, this region is actually the Middle West. Maps perpetuate this European-centric worldview where London is the default center of Earth. The geographical middle of the Eastern Hemisphere is actually in the Indian Ocean. Number 36, mountain heights are wrong. Mount Everest is marked as Earth's highest peak on every map at 29,029 feet. But mountains are actually constantly changing height. Everest grows 4 millimeters every year and shrinks during earthquakes. The 2015 Nepal earthquake changed dozens of mountain heights instantly. Your map shows fixed numbers for features that are literally moving as you read this. Some Himalayan peaks change height by several feet between summer and winter. Number 35, the Amazon isn't just in Brazil. Maps often label the Amazon as Brazilian territory, but this rainforest actually spans 9 countries. Over 40% of the Amazon lies outside Brazil's borders, stretching into Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Bolivia, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. You've been led to believe one country owns Earth's lungs, when actually it's an international ecosystem larger than Western Europe. Number 34, latitude lines lie about climate. Maps suggest places at the same latitude have similar climates. But London sits at the same latitude as Calgary, Canada. Yet London rarely sees snow while Calgary freezes for months. New York shares latitude with Madrid but has completely different weather. Ocean currents, which maps don't show, matter more than latitude. You can't predict temperature by looking at map position. Geography textbooks have been misleading you about how climate actually works. Number 33, the fictional 7 continents. Every map shows 7 continents as if they're scientifically defined. But there's no universal agreement. Some countries teach 6 continents, others 5, some even 4. Europe and Asia are obviously one landmass, Eurasia, and North and South America are connected. The 7-continent model is just one arbitrary way to divide land. You learned geographical categories that many scientists completely reject. Number 32, countries inside countries. Your map shows clean country borders but hides the bizarre reality of enclaves. Lesotho is completely surrounded by South Africa. San Marino and Vatican City sit entirely inside Italy. But it gets weirder. There's a piece of India inside Bangladesh, which contains a piece of Bangladesh, which contains another piece of India. These nested territories create geographical impossibilities that maps simplify away. Number 31, the Strait of Gibraltar myth. Maps show the Strait of Gibraltar as a wide channel between continents. In reality, it's so narrow you can see Africa from Europe with the naked eye. Just 8 miles at its narrowest. Swimmers regularly cross between continents. This vast separation between continents is actually smaller than the English Channel. Maps psychologically exaggerate the divide between Africa and Europe when you could throw a baseball across their separation. Number 30, tectonic reality check. Static maps show permanent continents, but Earth's surface is actually broken into massive moving pieces. Los Angeles is racing towards San Francisco at 2 inches per year. In 10 million years, Los Angeles will be north of San Francisco. Africa is literally splitting in 2 right now, creating a new ocean. Your map shows a snapshot of continents that are constantly rearranging themselves like a planetary jigsaw puzzle. Number 29, the Indian subcontinent crash. Maps show India as part of Asia, but it's actually a separate piece of Earth that crashed into Asia like a slow-motion car accident. This collision is still happening, pushing the Himalayas higher every year. India is moving northeast 2 inches annually, crumpling Asia like paper. What looks like stable geography is actually an ongoing continental collision that your static map completely misses. Number 28, ocean floors aren't flat. Blue areas on maps suggest uniform ocean depth, but the ocean floor has mountain ranges taller than the Himalayas. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge is a 40,000-mile underwater mountain chain you've never seen on a map. There are underwater waterfalls, valleys deeper than the Grand Canyon, and volcanic ranges that dwarf anything on land. Maps show oceans as empty blue space when they're actually Earth's most dramatic landscapes. Number 27, rivers flow uphill on maps. The Nile River appears to flow up on maps from south to north, confusing millions who assume water flows down toward the bottom of maps. But maps have no up or down. North isn't up in space. The Amazon actually flows eastward, the Mississippi flows south, and many rivers flow in directions that seem impossible on a north-oriented map. Your orientation bias makes you misunderstand basic hydrology. Number 26, city sizes are deceptive. Maps show city names in different sized fonts, suggesting their importance. But Tokyo's metropolitan area has more people than all of Canada. The Pearl River Delta in China has 70 million people, more than the UK, but appears as a few dots. Meanwhile, famous but tiny cities get prominent placement. You've been trained to think map prominence equals population, but it's actually about Western cultural bias. Number 25, the Ring of Fire's hidden danger. Maps might show some volcanoes, but they hide that 75% of Earth's active volcanoes form a 25,000-mile horseshoe of death around the Pacific. This Ring of Fire produces 90% of all earthquakes and contains 450 volcanoes. Right now, dozens are erupting simultaneously. Your map shows stable coastlines around a ring of constant geological violence that threatens billions of people daily. Number 24, time zones make no sense. That neat time zone map with vertical stripes? Pure fantasy. China, spanning 5 geographical time zones, uses only one time, meaning sunrise in Western China happens at 10 a.m. Spain is in the wrong time zone entirely because of a 1940s dictator. Some time zones zigzag around cities, creating temporal chaos. The actual time zone map looks like it was drawn by a committee of angry toddlers. Number 23, magnetic north is running away. Your map shows magnetic north as a fixed point, but it's actually racing across the Arctic at 34 miles per year. It's moved 1,400 miles since it was first located. In your lifetime, magnetic north has traveled from Canada towards Siberia. GPS systems and compasses need constant updates because the point your map calls north is literally running away from where maps say it should be. Number 22, countries that change size. The Netherlands appears as a fixed shape on maps, but this country is literally creating new land from the sea. They've added 17% more land area since 1900. Singapore has grown 25% larger by importing sand. Meanwhile, Tuvalu and Maldives are disappearing beneath rising seas. Your map shows countries as permanent shapes when they're actually shapeshifters growing and shrinking before our eyes. Number 21, the language map lie. Language maps show clean boundaries where one language stops and another begins. Reality? Languages blend in chaotic gradients. There are 800 languages in Papua New Guinea alone, some spoken by only 50 people. India has 780 languages, not the handful maps suggest. Every mapped language boundary is fiction. Real language patterns look like abstract art, painted by multilingual communities who never got the memo about neat borders. Number 20, Antarctica's hidden secrets. Maps show Antarctica as a white blob, but under that ice are mountain ranges, vast lakes, and active volcanoes. Lake Vostok, buried under 2 miles of ice, has been sealed for 15 million years and might contain prehistoric life. There are 138 volcanoes under the ice, including some currently erupting. Your map shows you ice when there's an entire hidden continent with landscapes that haven't seen daylight since before humans existed. Number 19, the gravity map nobody shows you. Standard maps assume gravity is uniform, but Earth's gravity varies dramatically by location. You literally weigh less in parts of Canada and more in Indonesia. GPS satellites must constantly adjust for gravity anomalies that make sea level actually vary by hundreds of feet globally. The Earth bulges and contracts based on underground density. What you call flat ground is actually warped by invisible gravity variations your map ignores. Number 18, border disputes everywhere. Your map shows clean borders, but there are over 150 active territorial disputes right now. India and China disagree on thousands of square miles. Japan and Russia can't agree on island ownership. Even Canada and Denmark are fighting over a tiny Arctic island. The definitive borders on your map are actually violent disagreements frozen in printer ink. Every border is someone's bitter argument pretended into certainty. Number 17. Continental shelves change everything. Maps show water is not land, but continental shelves extend hundreds of miles underwater as legitimate national territory. Countries own vast underwater empires you can't see. Russia claimed half the Arctic Ocean floor. China builds islands to expand territory. The real map of national boundaries extends far into what you think is international water. The geopolitical world is vastly larger than the dry land your map displays. Number 16. Desert transformations. The Sahara Desert on your map was a lush green paradise just 6,000 years ago. It had lakes, rivers, and widespread human settlements. This transformation happens in cycles. The Sahara turns green every 20,000 years due to Earth's wobble. Australia's deserts were rainforests. What your map shows as permanent desert is just a temporary phase in Earth's constant makeovers. Today's wasteland is tomorrow's garden. Number 15. Invisible countries underground. Maps completely ignore the massive underground cities and territories. Montreal has an underground city spanning 20 miles. Beijing has over 1 million people living in underground apartments. Kuberpedi, Australia exists mostly underground. There are entire underground transportation networks, shopping districts, and residential areas creating invisible geography. Your 2D map misses the 3D reality of human habitation extending deep into Earth. Number 14. The ocean conveyor belt. Maps show static oceans, but there's a planet-wide river system underwater moving 100 times more water than all rivers combined. This global conveyor belt takes 1,000 years to complete one cycle, controlling Earth's climate. If it stops, Europe would freeze and global weather would collapse. The most important geographical feature for human survival is completely invisible on every map you've ever seen. Number 13. Micronations are real. Your map ignores hundreds of micronations with real governments and citizens. Sealand, built on an abandoned sea fort, has issued passports since 1967. Liberland, created in 2015 between Serbia and Croatia, has 400,000 citizenship applications. The Kingdom of North Sudan was claimed by an American so his daughter could be a princess. These aren't jokes. They're functioning entities your map pretends don't exist because cartographers follow political rules, not reality. Number 12. The Philippines keeps growing. Maps show the Philippines as 7,641 islands, but this number is wrong and constantly changing. At low tide, hundreds more islands appear. The country officially added 534 new islands in 2017 after better surveying. Some islands are emerging from volcanic activity while others disappear in storms. Your map shows a snapshot of an archipelago that's actually a living, breathing, shape-shifting entity that changes with every tide. Number 11. The true center of Earth. Every map chooses an arbitrary center, but where is Earth's actual geographical center? It's impossible to define on a sphere. The antipode of any point is equally valid as a center, yet maps have convinced you that Greenwich, England, deserves the prime meridian. This was a political decision, not geographical truth. French maps used Paris. Chinese maps used Beijing. Your worldview is literally centered on 19th century British naval power. Number 10. Phantom islands lasted centuries. Maps included completely fictional islands for hundreds of years. Sandy Island appeared on maps from 1876 to 2012, including on Google Earth, before scientists proved it never existed. California was shown as an island for 200 years. Dozens of phantom islands were on official navigation charts used by real ships. You could have sailed to your death following maps that confidently displayed pure fiction as geographical fact. Number 9. Earth isn't a sphere. Every globe you've seen is wrong. Earth isn't a sphere. It's an oblate spheroid, flattened at the poles and bulging at the equator. But it's worse. Earth is actually lumpy, with the southern hemisphere slightly larger. Mountains and ocean trenches make it even more irregular. The blue marble photo you know was heavily edited. Real Earth looks like a lumpy potato, not the perfect sphere maps pretend it is. Number 8. Countries that legally don't exist, where maps say. Here's where it gets legal. Embassies are technically foreign soil, making geography legally bizarre. The UK Embassy in Washington is legally British territory. There are 3,500 pieces of foreign countries scattered inside other nations. But it's weirder. Ships create moving countries. A Japanese ship in New York Harbor is legally floating Japan. Maps show fixed countries when legal sovereignty creates thousands of mobile and scattered national territories. Number 7. The Internet's physical geography. Digital maps ignore that the Internet has physical geography. Undersea cables carrying 99% of international data. These cables follow specific routes you'll never see on Google Maps. When sharks bite cables, entire countries lose internet. The cloud isn't in the sky. It's in massive data centers consuming more electricity than entire nations. Your wireless world depends on very real geography that maps keep invisible. Number 6. GPS is lying to you. Your GPS isn't showing true position. It's showing where satellites think you might be. Military GPS is accurate to inches, but civilian GPS is deliberately degraded. Worse, GPS assumes Earth is a perfect ellipsoid, creating errors up to 100 meters in mountainous areas. In cities, signals bounce off buildings, creating urban canyons of confusion. That blue dot confidently showing your location? It's an educated guess, not geographical truth. Number 5, the map projection conspiracy. Here's the biggest lie. It's mathematically impossible to accurately show a sphere on flat paper. Every single flat map must distort area, shape, distance, or direction. The Mercator projection was designed for navigation, not education, yet it's taught in schools worldwide. This creates systematic bias. Tropical countries appear smaller, polar regions larger. 2 generations have been unconsciously programmed with geographical racism because we chose the wrong map for classrooms. Number 4. Continents are moving now. This isn't about millions of years. Continents are measurably moving right now. GPS stations track this movement daily. The Atlantic Ocean grows 2 inches wider every year. Hawaii moves 3 inches toward Japan annually. The Mediterranean Sea is closing and will disappear entirely. In your lifetime, every continent will be in a measurably different position. The ground beneath you is literally traveling, and your map pretends it's standing still. Number 3. Sea level isn't level. Maps reference sea level as if it's uniform, but sea level varies by up to 300 feet around Earth. The Pacific Ocean near New Guinea is physically higher than the Atlantic. Gravity, rotation, currents, and temperature create permanent hills and valleys in the ocean. What we call sea level is an arbitrary average of a surface that's actually as bumpy as land. Every elevation on every map references a fictional flat ocean that doesn't exist. Number 2, most of Earth is invisible. Your map shows 29% of Earth, the land, but 71% is ocean, and we've explored less than 20% of it. We have better maps of Mars than our own ocean floor. There could be mountain ranges taller than Everest that no human has seen. Each year we discover thousands of new underwater features. The majority of your planet remains unmapped, unexplored, and unknown. Your complete world map is actually less than 1/3 complete. Number 1, the Earth's surface is mostly vertical. Here's the ultimate geography lie. Maps show Earth's surface as horizontal, but most of it is actually vertical or steeply sloped. If you randomly dropped onto Earth's solid surface, you'd likely hit a cliff face, mountain slope, or ocean wall, not flat ground. The horizontal bias of maps has convinced you Earth is mostly flat when it's predominantly vertical. Ocean trenches, mountain ranges, and continental slopes dominate our planet. We don't live on a horizontal world. We cling to the rare flat spots on a violently vertical planet. Every map you've ever trusted has been showing you Earth from the only angle that makes it look flat, hiding the dramatic truth that our world is mostly walls. So there you have it. 50 ways maps have been lying to you your entire life. From shrinking Africa to hiding vertical worlds, from moving continents to fictional borders, everything you thought you knew about Earth's geography needs updating. Next time you look at a map, remember, you're not seeing the world as it is, you're seeing someone's best guess at flattening the unflattenable. Which of these shocked you the most? Comment below, and if this blew your mind, share it with someone who still thinks north is up.